saw it came on. And, are you recording me?
Yes, Yes,
okay. We're going to go right to left. We're going to start off with the gear shift. It is in neutral. I have my parking brake. It is pulled and set. I have my key. I'm going to turn it into safe start with all my gauges will cycle. I've turned it on. My gauges are cycling and going back. I have my ABS light. It is going to come on and go off promptly. And it did. I have my gauges. I'm going to start my bus. I'm going to close the door because I want to be in here. So the door is closed. I'm going to start right to left. I have my gauges. I have my air tanks. It should read between 120 and 125, no higher than 140. Between 120 and 125, my governor will cut off. I have my voltmeter. It should read between 12 and 14.5. I have adequate amount of fuel for this trip. I have my miles per hour, I have my RPMs, and my tachometer. I will show you how that works later when we're on our road test. I have my water, and I have my transmission temperature. It should read between 170 and 200. I have my oil. It should read between 20 and 60. So now I'm still going from right to left. As I'm going left, I have my fan. It works on low, high, and off. I have my driver heater. It works on low, high, and off. I have my driver defrost. It works on low, high, and off. I have my student dome light and my driver dome light. They come on and they're working properly. I turn them off. I have my noise reducer. I'm going to turn on something to make noise. I turn on my fan. I hit my noise reducer. It turns it off. I turn it back on. It is working properly. That's your master switch. You hit it, but you don't tell them you hit it. Now, ma'am or sir, I'm getting ready to check my lights. I'm going to turn on my left turn signal. It is working on my dash. I can see it on my dash. I can see it going left to right. I can see it in my my driver convex mirror. I can see it in my driver's flat, and I can see that my clearance lights are working. I can also see it in my driver's side crossover. Okay, I'm going to turn on my right turn signal. I can see it in my passenger side crossover. I can see it in my passenger side convex. I can see it in my passenger side flat, along with my clearance lights. They are working properly, and on the dash, I can also see it. I'm going to turn on my hazards on my four-ways. I can see them in both of my driver's side and passenger side crossovers. I can see them in both of my driver's side and passenger side convex. I can see them in both of my driver's side and passenger side flat. Okay? Now, I'm going to turn it off. And I can also see it on the dash, like I said before. I'm going to turn on my windshield wipers. They work on low, high, and they spray. As you can see, it is spraying. And it works properly. Okay? So now, I done did all of my lights. I done did everything. Now I'm getting ready to check my loading lights. I'm going to turn on my student warning lights. They're on. I can see them on my dash. Do not worry about that one. I can see them in my crossover, my driver's side and my passenger side crossover. Now to check that, to see if my loading lights are working, I'm going to open the door. When I open the door, now I'm going from left to right. Left to right. Okay? Open the door. As I open the door, I can see that my stop arms on my driver's side is extended out. I can see it in my convex and in my flat. I can also see that it is extended out in my crossover. I can see that my student loading lights up top, they are working properly. My student crossing gate is working properly in my driver's side convex. I can see the same in my passenger side convex, that my student loading gate is extended out, and I can see that my lights are working properly up top. As we get ready to, would you please go outside the door and check my back? I forgot to mention this earlier. My student doorway light is working properly and it is on. And my outside of my door, my student loading light outside of the door is working properly. Thank you. Could you go to the back? They're in the back. I have my, now I'm getting ready to check my lights. Who's there behind me? Is that a driver? Pause your thing. I ain't reading. They're in the back, okay? You ready to start? Okay. So now that they're in the back, I'm going to check my lights again. I'm going to turn on my high beams. Turn them on, turn them off, turn them on, turn them off. Okay? So they see that my tail lights are working in the back. Now I'm going to turn on my left turn signal. Thumbs up. Right turn signal. Thumbs up. 4 ways. Thumbs up. Student warning lights. Thumbs up. Open the door. Thumbs up. They're in the back. Okay. They do thumbs up. Close it. They come up here. As you can see, my horn is working. I forgot to show you that my headlights are working. They're on the bus. Whatever you forget, you can always go back until you tell them you're through. There they come back. My lights are working. As you can see, they're on. High beams are working. You can see them here and you can see them in both of my crossovers. Okay? Now, they're going to tell you, okay, they did the lights. Now what you're going to do is you're going to pop up and pop back. So we're going to pop up and go to the back now, right? So now we're getting ready to do the air brake test and check the bus. Okay? So now I'm going to turn off my bus. Turn it to auxiliary. Take off my seatbelt. I'm going to step up. I'm going to go to the back. As I'm going to the back of the bus, I'm checking to make sure that the seats are securely mounted to the floor of the bus. And I'm going back to check the back door to make sure that the buzzer is working properly. I'm going to check the bottom of the seats as I'm coming back. I'm not going to check every one of these. I'm going to stop here. Push up. And as you can see, it opens, it extends, it extends out, it comes back in. Pull down. Continue to check. Come to my window. I'm going to open, extend out, close it, it locks. Continue to check. I'm going to check these 3 windows exactly like I checked this one. I'm going to check that front roof hatch the same way as I checked that one. I'm going to continue to check the bottom of my seats to make sure that they're securely mounted to the floor. I come back. Excuse me, sir. I'm going to get back in my seat. I'm going to grab my seat belt. First thing you do, seat belt. I'm going to lock it in. Now I have my seat belt. The wheels are chalk. I'm sitting flat. Ma'am, now I am getting ready to perform an air brake test. I'm going to turn my bus into safe start. My gauge is cycle. My ABS light comes on and goes off properly. And it did. So now I'm getting ready to do an air brake test. I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to release my parking brake. When I release my parking brake, I should not lose more than 2 PSI within the first minute after initial drop. It's time. Okay? I'm checking my watch, to make sure I teach or train to have your own watch. Other people say ask them to do it. I train on my own watch. Okay? Okay? So we're going to say that it's been a minute. As you can see, I did not lose more than 2 psi within that first minute. Now I'm going to place my foot on the service brake, and I should not lose more than 3 psi within that first minute. I tell you not to push it hard. You just want to like. As you can see, I did not lose more than 3 psi of pressure within that first minute. So I'm going to feather it down between 65 and 60, no lower than 55. My warning low pressure light will come on and the audible sound will go off. And it did. Now I'm going to continue to feather my brake down between 45 and 20. My parking brake will reset itself. And it did. I'm going to pop on, pop up, go outside, get my chunks, come back in, put my chunks behind that seat, put my seat belt, because I had somebody fail, seat belt back on. Okay? Close the door. Now, I'm going to check that my parking brake is working. It's doing the same time. I'm going to see my foot is flat. Some people say hover. I don't hover. I want them to see that I'm not doing anything. Put it in gear, goose it. As you can see, the bus did not move. I'm going to put it in neutral. I'm going to bring the RPMs up between about 15 RPMs or 1500. Within 45 seconds, 45 seconds, I should reach between 85 and 100 on my PSI in my brake tanks, my air brake system. As you see, it done reached 100. So now I'm going to put my bus into gear, release my parking brake, have my hand underneath the wheel without touching it. I'm gonna roll up about 5 miles per hour, no more than 5 miles per hour. I'm gonna hit the brake. As you can see, it did not pull to the left or to the right. That completes my pre-trip.
We did it.